Hello and welcome everybody to tonight's session of Checkpoint Midnight Magic Missile Gap 1 of 3. We're here playing with the Gauntlet community. If you want to find out about the great games the Gauntlet is playing, check us out at gauntlet-rpg.com. And tonight's game is a playtest session of Checkpoint Midnight, a game in development from Cloven Pine Games, which is me. You can find out all about Checkpoint Midnight and sign up to learn more by going to bit.ly/checkpointmidnightlist. So that's a place to check out. I'll drop it in the show notes as well. Let's meet our party of players for this evening, starting with me. I'll ask everyone to say their name, their pronouns if they wish, and their online handle if they want to give that out, and then finally say what drew them to play in this game here. So my name is Alexi Sargent, he, him, and my online handle is Cloven Pine Games. So you can follow my gaming endeavors at Cloven Pine Games on Twitter, or check out my itch.io store at Cloven Pine Games there. And I am excited to be running this game because I'm working on developing this game. And got a great group of players here to start testing it out, start finding out what goes on in the supernatural shadows of Cold War Vienna. Let's go ahead. This time we'll go in character keeper order and meet our players, starting with Joey. Joey, tell us about yourself.
I'm Joey. Pronouns are they, them. I'm on Twitter at Joe_crack1C. I mostly tweet about wrestling and the problems of sexism in it. I'm very interested in trying out this Cold War spy fantasy game. I was very happy to see there's a playbook that's basically Catwoman. So I'm like, all right, that's what I want to play.
Excellent. Very happy to have you here, Joey. Next on my screen, going left to right, is Jim. Tell us about yourself, Jim.
Hey folks, I am Jim Crocker, and I've played a whole lot of games on the Gauntlet, with including and at least one with everybody here, which is really exciting. I like, it's always neat when you jump into games with people that you know and like. Alexa, you and I have played together a bunch. I've helped play test some of your other games, so I was really happy to see that this was up in December when I didn't really put a ton of stuff up myself. So it was good to see other people, carrying the load like that. So that's cool. Folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet probably know me because I've been a retailer of role-playing games for many years. I've owned a couple of stores, and these days I sell independent, small press role-playing games and story games at conventions all up and down the East Coast of the United States and in the near Midwest. I was just, last weekend I was in Ann Arbor. Last weekend I was doing Thanksgiving. The weekend before that I was in Ann Arbor at UConn. Coming up this week is one of the big 800-pound gorillas for the year, and that's PAX Unplugged. I'll be down there in Philadelphia along with Joey, who will be helping me out in the booth. So I'm very excited for that. So come find me at PAX Unplugged, or if you cannot make it to Philly this weekend, I'm online at jimlikesgames.com, just like it sounds. And I'm on Twitter at jimlikesgames, and you can find out all the game stuff I do. You can buy games from me. You can listen to my podcast, all that sort of stuff. So really looking forward to this game. It is in part because it is BPRD adjacent, which is a comic that I really love. And so this kind of like very much feels like that's the kind of thing we're going to have going on. So I'm really looking forward to it. Like Joey said, like superhero adjacent stuff like this is definitely something I really enjoy. So I think it's going to be great.
Excellent. Yeah, if you want to imagine some Mike Mignola cover artwork for this series, please be my guest. Good to have you all here. Finally, last but not least, Jamie, tell us a little about yourself.
Hi, so I'm Jamie, they, them pronouns, please. You can find me online at Twitter at Temporal Hiccup. I'm always posting Sailor Moon GIFs and posting several smaller itch.io games every month. I usually try to release like around 1 to 3 games a month, so it's super fun. I love designing. But, I have to stress they're like smaller games. They're not like this size games all the time. So I decided to join this playtest because the image of the golem like hiding in the trench coat really won me over. I was even more excited when I saw the playbooks and I saw that you could choose between, in the same playbook, choose between playing a golem, a robot or a fey creature. So I'm super excited. And when Jim said BPRD, I was like, that is right. That is so correct. Yeah. I love that peg. So I'm super excited. I love PBTA in general, but I also just really love the idea of like mixing magic with modern stuff, with weird stuff. So I'm super, 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 super excited to play.
That's awesome. Well, great to have everybody here.
I have a quick question for Jen.
Yeah.
What was that Twitter handle?
Temporal Hiccup. I got it from my partner when he was writing a review for Max Payne, the game. So he would describe those moments as temporal hiccups, and it's stuck with me ever since.
Ooh, excellent. All right. Now that we've met our lovely crew of players, let's start to meet these characters. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen up here. Yeah, now we can see the character keeper that people have so nicely filled out. So Joey, you're up first. You picked the playbook, the Dodger. The Dodger is kind of the thief or con artist character type. But tell us a little about your particular Dodger, including the role you've selected from your options here.
I'm playing Marguerite Tone. Her role is Mataga. I don't know how to pronounce it. Mataga.
I think it's Matago.
Okay, Matago. They're basically a cat that became a person, or a person that wishes they were a cat. So I was like, yeah, that's pretty on brand.
A woman that wishes they were a cat woman.
Yep.
Do you think your character remembers whether she was originally a cat or a human, or has she kind of just accepted that?
No, she remembers the before times.
Is she willing to spill?
I mean, what? Maybe.
That's
it depends how much I like you in the moment.
I see. Fair enough.
Lord, no.
Yeah, that checks out.
Total cat.
Yep.
Yeah. So as the Dodger, you have some gear, and you've made some choices about what you've got going on there. You want to tell us a little about your look and your gear, so we can picture Marguerite.
Right. Look, she's a female. White, hypnotic eyes, and snappy formal wear. I went with while Jim went with Grace Kelly, I went with Hedy Lamarr, because I mean, it's like always been like the classic femme fatale in my mind for this type character, even though I don't know if she ever actually played any roles like that. So but yeah, like, she's got comfortable apartment, sleek car, a deck of custom playing cards, an antique dagger, and a token from her benefactor, which is a black silk choker.
Who is that benefactor?
Oh, it's like the goddess Bast.
I see, and it's the goddess Bast who kind of granted you.
Yeah, it's like, you're a cat. Okay, you want this? All right, let's see how you enjoy it.
So you at least wonder what exactly Bast was doing, whether Bast was just doing you a favor with this gift, or was trying to teach you some kind of a lesson.
No, I think she was just doing me a favor.
Okay,
like, that's the way I look at it. I like her. She's great.
And what about those custom cards? Like, how have you customized them? Are they still fair to play with, or?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, not if you're playing against me, because I'm really good at cards. I don't cheat. That would be rude. But I don't know how to, like, I've got them marked, but like, it's not, obvious to human eyes, at least.
I see. Marked in a way that's non-obvious to non-cats.
Yeah.
Awesome. Let me ask just a few things about your
Sure.
backstory.
Sure.
How long have you been here in Vienna, and why did you have to leave your previous stomping grounds?
All right. I've been here for about a year. Left my last stomping grounds because I stole something from the wrong person. They're not happy about it. So the heat was on, so I had to amscray. So I figured, all right, go further east where it's a little more treacherous to chase me.
I see. Do you have a if you end up with a name for that person you stole from, you can drop it to me in the chat. But what is it you stole? I guess. Or is that where you got that antique dagger?
No, that's not where I had the antique the dagger.
You've had that for a while.
Yeah, for a while. I will try and think of the person, but let's very much. Let's say I stole a tiara. Them or their girlfriend or their mall or whatever. MOLL.
Sure. Yeah. I see. Good. Yeah. Kind of mafia lingo you're dropping here. I see. What in the city reminds you of your benefactor, the goddess Bast, and why do you try to avoid it?
All right. Well, I looked up places in Vienna, and Schönbrunn Palace reminds me of my benefactor. There's a lot of art from all over the world there. I made that up. I don't know if that's actually true.
There is a huge sculpture garden there with a lot of depictions of classical mythological figures. So you're totally on the money.
All right, then. There we go. And it's just generally the air about the place. That's I avoid it though. I do not know. I do enjoy going there. I try to avoid it because a professional rival, and possibly more than professional rival. I often see Isabella Rossi there, so I'm like, are you gonna screw things up for me?
And by professional rival, you mean another person who steals things and runs cons?
Yes.
Great.
And we're like one-ups. Cat burgling ship.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. That's great.
Just like the Arsène Lupin to me. I'm like, oh, how dare you?
What prize are you currently scoping out, Marguerite?
All right. So Talia Vale, she's been showing off her collection of jewelry from her home country, and there's one necklace with a cat's eye emerald on it. It's definitely, I'm like, oh, come on. You're just begging. Just begging.
And that leads nicely into your contact question here, then, because what it specifies is you're running a con on someone influential, but they've figured it out. Of course, that was always part of the plan, right?
Yeah, totally. Talia Vale, she's the obviously wealthy, influential woman, owns and operates the Egyptian Club right there in Vienna. Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I'm very good at cat puns. I've read many a Catwoman comic, so.
So what's your con game on Miss Vale here?
Oh, like made introductions, and I've I compliment her, but like she totally knows that, like, by reputation, that I am a thief, and that like I've like let her know in classic Batman criminal style, like, I'm gonna take that. Like, I'm coming for it.
So it's like at a social function, you're like, oh, that necklace, I could just steal it.
Yeah.
And then you like stare at her for slightly too long, and then you both like sit her away, laughing about the possibility. So you two are kind of circling each other, basically. Yep. Like you each like think you have the other one's number. That's awesome. So you both have leverage on each other. You can definitely mark that down. And I will mark down that Talia Vale has leverage on you. And you can see here a few character portraits that I've dropped into the NPCs tab as well. Marguerite, anything else we should definitely know about you before we move on? I guess the moves you've chosen not the fall that kills you and ledger domain, which make it sound to me like you're interested in sometimes dropping from improbably high heights and surviving.
Yep.
And sometimes having a crowd of people to work over and lift valuables from. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Awesome. Anything else we should definitely know before we move on?
Not that I know of.
All right, then we'll move on to our next character. Thank you so much. Good to meet you, Marguerite. Jim, you've chosen the Elemental. Elemental is kind of a restless spirit of the elements who's been bound to some kind of human form and made to serve as a weapon. Tell us a little about your Elemental.
I am Ina Morozovia, Russian. So my look is woman. I'm using Grace Kelly as my avatar here, so like high femme, ice princess, blonde, pale blonde, kind of thing going on. Clear eyes and colorful formal wear, where Marguerite like dresses all in black, like Ina dresses in like bold 50s colors and stuff like this. I love her look, like gold, her like she's almost like wearing something that looks like it could be a tablecloth in that dress in that picture there.
That's
but
right.
she carries it off because she can carry it off. So where like whenever Marguerite is trying to blend in, Ina is kind of standing out, right? And I'm hoping that we can play with that a little bit, certainly. My gear is I have a sparse apartment with a single object of beauty in it, and that object of beauty is a massive like beautifully pristine antique Victorian clawfoot tub that is like where a couch would be if it were a normal apartment, right?
So it's out in like the central living area.
Yes, yeah. Like it would be like a studio, right? And like I don't have a bed, and I sleep in the tub, and like I have like like I throw a blanket and a pillow in it when people come to visit, so that they think that I'm like think that I'm eccentric, but in fact I'm sleeping in the tub full of water.
Yeah, because you are a Rusalka.
I'm a Rusalka, and that means that I am a I'm not exactly a ghost, but I'm someone who died by drowning.
Drowned, yeah,
and then
absolutely.
am animated by a spirit of the water. And wow, I have no idea where like I start and the spirit ends. Am I a spirit that thinks I'm Ina? Am I Ina possessed by a spirit? It's all very Alakal and Swamp Thing as far as I'm concerned. Where I don't know where one part of it ends and how much of it is really me, and am I really still me? And so I think there's a lot of that going on. I have art supplies for a particular art, and that is a violin. And a violin, a bow, violin strings, rosin, stuff like I have a table that has like just a bunch of like violin crap on it, right? And maybe a couple of old ones that I tinker with working on or something like that, in my spare time. But I can play the violin. Is what I've decided.
And your violin is not only your art supply, but also provides your subtle weapon.
Yeah, it does, because I use the violin strings as garrots. There is something about asphyxiating someone that is super, super satisfying for me. So and like you can just like you can walk around, if you've got a violin, you can walk around with a big roll full of violin strings and nobody gives you a second look. So so that is my subtle weapon is a garrote that I use to just choke people out with. My contact, the way that my contact gets in touch with me is there are messages in the milk bottles that get delivered to like outside my apartment door, right? So they, there's actual milk in the bottle, but they put it on like a like a little like whatever like a little waterproof sheet or something like that or whatever, and it just gets rolled up and dropped into the milk bottle. They deliver the milk bottle, I read it. If I respond, I put it in the empty milk bottle that goes back out, because these are like the solid, like the ceramic milk bottles, not the clear ones.
Got it. I was picturing clear glass, but it's
Yep,
ceramic, so
Yes, yeah. So
nobody would see the message.
exactly.
Gotcha.
Yes, yeah. So that is how we get in touch. That's how they get in touch with me if they need to. Now, because I am this powerful elemental creature, I have a leash, which is something that my handler can use to basically have leverage over me, kind of automatic leverage. And anybody that has that can get their hands on my leash, they have that same leverage over me. And in my case, it is a little test tube that contains my frozen last tear from before I died. So like the last tear that came out of my eye and froze in the water that they were drowning, the like ice cold water that they drowned me in, that the Nazis drowned me in. That tear is in a little, like, just like a tiny little test tube, and you can see it. And for some reason, like, no matter how hot it gets, it never melts, and you could smash it with a hammer and nothing would happen to it. It's a magical thing, right? But anybody that has that has leverage over me. And I think probably can do some other stuff as well. But so and I am a result of like Nazi occult experiments, right? Of Himmler's program to try and just all kinds of crazy, research into the occult and stuff like that. And I got drowned by some crazy Gestapo scientists, and it actually worked. Much to their chagrin, because then I like busted my way out of there, and now I have this role as a secret agent here. So
who's your handler now? Who's gotten hold of that frozen tear?
Boy, so I was originally a Russian spy, but I'd really like it to be an American that's got a hold of it now.
That totally makes sense.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we could make it. Should we make it someone who we've already introduced here? One of the other NPCs, or
let me check if we've got a good American NPC. I think for your handler we can
create somebody new.
Yeah. Do you want it to be like an American intelligence community figure who's?
Oh yeah. I want it to be like a like button down Yale CIA guy. Like 28-year-old George Bush, something like that.
Oh my gosh.
like total, like straight arrow, mom and apple pie, by the book CIA guy.
Yeah, I think I've got an image for that. Give me a sec. How's that look to you, Jim?
That's perfect. Absolutely, yeah.
We'll give him a name in a moment.
Great. Like you're whatever, like you're John Hamm looking, CIA dude. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we know some things. About how you've been bound to this form. It sounds like you have a specific connection to the Danube River. Is that right?
I sure do. Yeah. I think I decided that would be kind of a cool thing to tie my character to. So, how long have I been bound to this form and stationed in this city? As a Russian spy, captured, tortured, and experimented on by the Nazis as part of their occult research. I've been bound to the Danube, and I get uncomfortable if I get too far away from it. That's why I stay in Vienna. Is because if I go too far away, I I've tried to go back to Russia, and I just get increasingly, and it's not like I don't get hurt or wither away or anything. It's just I get increasingly anxious and out of sorts.
Yeah.
And
the river has this strong pull for you.
Yeah, and I don't feel like myself again until I'm back within a day or two's travel of the Danube. So, what petty ways do I find to rebel against those who hold my leash? Well, since the dude that's holding it right now is a straight arrow, happily married, mission focused CIA guy, I really like to tease him and like be in the bath when he shows up and stuff like this, and like just step out and ask him to hand me a towel and everything, because I know he's under strict orders not to fraternize with any of the his assets that he's handling, and B, he's so tightly wound that clearly it is just making him nuts. So
yeah, I hear it. Bradley Bushwick. For a name there? Yeah.
Oh, Brad. Brad. Yes.
Excellent.
Brad, I'm mad for you too.
Tell me, Ina, about the beautiful hidden thing you've glimpsed in the city, thanks to your elemental nature.
There is at the bottom of the Danube a treasure trove. It's like this, like randomly placed museum of like ancient artifacts and things down there. There's bodies, there's old Roman chariots, there are there's been so many wars fought back and forth across this part of the world, and the detritus of all of that is down there. And if you need something, I could probably eventually find it down there. Something weird or strange or historical. It's down there somewhere. But of course there are other things that are down there too. Like that is like, nobody thinks of that as the most ancient part of the city, but it is. And I can swim down there and swim amongst it. And certainly I've only seen some tiny percentage of it, but I really think that it's like, that it's magical. When we have that, like, I stay in my apartment because I have to, because people need to get in touch with me. But given my choice, I would rather be down there, like looking at old Roman, like sifting through the silt for old Roman coins and stuff like that.
All right. Finally, a contact question. You once spared someone you'd been instructed to destroy, and now they've become important in Vienna. You have leverage over them. Who are they?
So I actually went and looked up an actual historical person. And this is like a few years before they actually write their first screenplay for Austrian crime drama movies. This is Helmut Andix, who is a journalist reporting on post-war organized crime, but eventually became a screenwriter for crime dramas. And so I've taken some liberties and stuff. Like, I don't know what exactly his journalism was into, but I'm going to say that, he ticked off the wrong, guys that got rich off of skimming Marshall Plan money, right? And, I got instructed to ice him. And I ended up not doing so because it, like, I realized that we knew each other from before, like from the war, like from before I became a Rusalka, and so he recognized me. Got it.
When you were just a spy.
Yes, when I was just a spy.
You knew this guy digging around in the secrets of Europe at that point.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
He knows that you spared him, you think? Like, this was like a thing where, like, your eyes met and he realized what you'd come to do and then saw you turn away from it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. It was one of these, like, I probably, like I was gonna, walking towards him, and maybe he saw my reflection somewhere, and then, like, coming at him from behind with the garrote, and he caught my reflection in a window or like a passing car mirror or something like that, and he turned and said my name, and I couldn't do it.
That's excellent. That's very good. So the moves.
Yeah, I think that like the wing mirror of a passing car, he just caught my reflection in that.
Oh, that's very good.
So evocative.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta think in terms of the shot, right, and the camera zooming in or panning to that mirror.
Yeah, because like I would never be so stupid as to come at somebody like when they were standing in front of a a dressing mirror or in a shop window or something like that. So those are rare, moment of oversight for me. Just serendipity for him.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So as the Rusalka, you have a move that just says if you get someone fully submerged in water, that's it. They're at your mercy. You have to take the leash demon. That talks about the leash that is held on you. In this case, that little test tube with your last frozen tear in it. And you've chosen Tempest Caller. So that suggests to me you want some opportunities to cause some problems or maybe solve some problems by letting the water come in and try to help
I want the Danube to be an NPC. That's why I picked that move. Yeah. Because we're in Vienna.
We are in Vienna. That's excellent. Anything else we should definitely know about Inna before we move on?
Boy, it's 10 years since the war.
Yes, just about.
She's killed a lot of people. She's been she is a weapon. And has probably kind of gotten to the point where she believes anybody that's involved in this particular game, like she does not really particularly, she has lost interest in which side is which. And like, if they're sending me after someone, chances are they're involved in this. Chances are they've done something at some point that,
everybody's guilty of something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Whatever you have to say to sleep in your tub at night.
Well, and I I don't know that she's a cynic, but she's just kind of like jaded and numb by this point by all of this. Yeah.
Right.
Got it.
Like it's been pulled out of her.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, like she's not quite sure how human she is anymore.
Oh, this really has strong BPRD feels. I feel like it's that comic when they do flashbacks for the older stories. That's what it feels like is happening.
Excellent. Well, good to meet Inna. Let's meet our final character here. So last but not least, Jemmy, you're playing the construct. Tell us a little about the construct that you've chosen, including the role you've picked out here.
Yeah, so I'm playing Maria. They go by she, they. I'm going to be honest, if there's ever a choice to choose like a robot or a golem or whatever, that is what Jamie chooses every single time. So like, they're always my favorite characters in whatever I'm watching or consuming. So for Maria, the way she looks, I realized like I forgot to pick out the look because I had the image so sharply in my mind from the movie Metropolis.
Yep.
That inspired C-3PO. Like I just wanted to wholesale pretend that in this world some aspect of that movie was true.
Yeah.
So her whole backstory is probably there, but we'll get into that in a bit. So basically, Maria.
But Fritz Lang fans are in for a treat here, is what we're saying.
Yeah. So she has gold eyes and they have fluid movement. So I feel like when you look at their body, it's all segmented. And so it's kind of creepy to see her move so fluidly, so beautifully, because it looks like she literally doesn't have enough joints to be able to move like that. And her form is vaguely femme. And the gear that she has, so she's squatting in an apartment that used to belong to a friend of hers, an artist. So all the walls are just covered in paint, like they're murals, but they're also words that are scrawled. Like this person was a prolific creator. And Maria likes collecting odd things. Specifically, she likes collecting small pocket mirrors or small mirrors of some kind. And, I imagine that she just spends time looking at the mirror, just sort of like trying to imagine. Because based on the original Maria from the movie Metropolis, she used to be able to take on different forms. I don't think she has that ability anymore. And she doesn't remember how she lost it. But so she keeps looking at the mirror, remember that she could look like different people before. But she doesn't know what happened.
That's
I
excellent.
like making sad robots. I don't know why.
Are the mirrors set up where there's like they kind of you could stand between different mirrors and have the like abyss illusion of endless reflections? Nice.
Yeah. And it's one of those like the camera angle is a little low and the music is a little like throbbing. That kind of creepy spy kind of vibe. So she has her small collection and she has her big collection of mirrors in the apartment also. And let's see. Aside from that, I couldn't quite pick an improvised weapon. I couldn't imagine what would like go with what I have so far. So I'm open to suggestions, or I'm open to us making it up on the spot when we need to.
Happy to make that up on the spot if need be. The other question I had is the artist friend of yours. What happened to them? Why is this apartment free for you to be squatting in now?
Yeah, I think we used to be friends. I think my artist friend actually like helped me, protected me. Like they found me out on the streets, and I think like I have a feeling the artist is not just an artist, right? Because this is this kind of story, this kind of game. But I think Maria thinks that they're just an artist. I think they got caught up in something bad, but Maria doesn't know. Maria's very innocent. She just knew that one day her artist friend was not there, and it's actually part of her backstory where she went crazy looking for him, trying to get him to come back home. But I really suspect he's caught up in this game somehow, and she just doesn't know because Maria is painfully innocent. In fact, it says later that everybody has leverage on her because she's just that open.
Yep.
So
yeah, can we name the missing artist friend Fritz?
Oh yeah, sure, of course.
Excellent, that works for me.
Yeah.
A few
You know
more.
what would be a cool improvised weapon for her?
Oh, okay, I'm open.
Is like, you know how they tell you, like, have you ever seen somebody like just like in a hard-boiled, like a noir, you like grab a roll of nickels or something like that to kind of give yourself a fist load, right? To punch somebody like that. Like if you had just like a long, like a bolt or something like that, something that like came out of a big machine that you just wrapped your hand around. And so it made that like a big thick, like a metal screw or a, like a big wood nail, like a railroad spike or something like that.
Yeah.
That you just held in your hand and just walloped people with.
Yeah, and I could say like it came from my past. Like I don't even remember how I got it, but it's the last thing I have.
A bit of some great engine in a city.
What turn of the century industrial machine it came out of? Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Okay, I'll write that down after for sure. Yeah, thanks so much, Jim. That's perfect.
Excellent. Good thinking. Let's see. So, we learned a little about how long ago Maria was made and why she has stayed in this city. But if you have anything more to tell us about that, about the this kind of background you're coming from.
Yeah, I think so she was made in 1927, which is a long time ago, and she eerily has not aged in any way and still thinks like a child. But I think she has flashes. Like she can't remember what she was doing back in 1927, and she can't remember the past years. But she gets flashes of acting like a bad person. She gets flashes of like inciting people. She gets flashes of machines being destroyed. But it's like as if she's just watching someone else do it.
Right.
So it's this weird sense. of that. And going into more of her, should I just go through the rest of the backstory questions?
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what about humanity fascinates me the most? Maria just loves the ability that humans have to create art, and how art is so beautiful in all its forms. But she's also fascinated by how humans judge things by appearance. Like she notices that just because someone is beautiful, that means they're a good person, and if someone is quotation mark ugly, whatever that means, then they're a bad person. Stuff like that. Like she's not judging. She just sees that's what it is. And what human activity? So she really wants to sing. Like there's a part of her that feels like singing, but she's never tried it, and she enjoys watching people sing. It's something that she's drawn to over and over again. I think she remembers the artist singing to her to help her go to sleep, even though she doesn't need to sleep. She would amuse him and lie down for like 8 hours. just to give him
playing at sleep. A fun game.
Like it was just playing house for her. Maria's like, okay, I will. And she used to like drink coffee and it would not go anywhere, like just to please him. And so for her contact, someone offered her mercy when she was lost and confused. So basically, right after Maria realized that the artist was missing and wasn't coming home, and I think the apartment was left in a disarray. Like she doesn't know what happened. She doesn't know if he was taken, if he was attacked, if he left. So she just went completely crazy. She's and Maria only has like a trench coat and a hat to cover because like she's stuck in that automaton kind of face right now. She can't change her more. And so she was in danger of that coming loose, and she was destroying things and scaring people. And so there was this person, Elizabeth Bailey, who stopped Maria and was able to calm her down. And Elizabeth Bailey is she writes short stories for a tawdry magazine. Like I'm thinking like those really pulpy, like cheap magazines that people use in the bathroom and whatever. So but there's also this sense that I think she's been writing stories about Maria, like, and she doesn't release them and she hasn't published them, but Maria's kind of worried that one day Elizabeth might, even though Maria doesn't know why she's worried. Like Maria just knows if more people know about me, I'm going to be breaking a promise of some kind, but she doesn't know.
Oh, interesting.
She doesn't remember what that is. She doesn't remember why she made that promise or to who. She just knows that she was supposed to keep herself hidden.
So, is ostensibly Elizabeth Bailey writing these stories just for practice?
Yeah, I think it's like a Watson situation where she's like writing the stories and she keeps asking, like she'll get the flashes of what Maria remembers and then she'll like write it out to extend that story. But I think Elizabeth is smarter than I give her credit for. I think she knows a bit more than Maria does.
That's good. Does the picture I picked out work for you in the
I love
NPCs
it.
tab?
Yeah, great. I saw it. I love it so much. It's perfect.
All right. You've picked some moves. So as the automaton, you get a move where you can commune with another machine and ask some questions. The other moves you picked are this thing called a soul and this machine kills fascists, which suggests to me you want chances to like try to make a human connection using your strange automaton perspective. And to possibly fight a whole mob of people. Does that sound about right?
Yeah. I wanted that spectrum for sure. And I'll be honest, like both moves are really awesome. All the moves are awesome. It was hard to choose which move and it was hard to choose which role. I forgot to mention I went with construct. Because but this thing called a soul really made me think of the Geth from Mass Effect. Like that was one of my favorite scenes in Mass Effect 3. And then just killing fascists sounds about right. Like I want to play in a game where I can kill fascists. That sounds about
punch perfect. Some Nazis. Yeah,
let's just go for it.
Absolutely. Well, Jim has run Masks games where I've gotten to be a golden age super teen punching Nazi fifth columnists. So I see the appeal here. Absolutely. All right. Anything else we should definitely know about Maria before we build up the map of relationships here?
Yeah, no, I'm just open to seeing who Maria is. Like, I love creating characters where I just have a seed and then just seeing where it goes. Like, just conveniently making stuff up that would stick to the story better. So, I'm excited.
Yeah. All right, that works for me. Let's go back around and start filling in these relationship questions here. Marguerite, your first question here, or do you want to choose first or second question to?
I shall choose.
Yeah.
I crave. Jim's name is small man. Ina's attention, but I'm playing it cool.
All right. Tell me a little about that. What makes Ina someone that you want attention from?
Well, she's dangerous, mysterious, and that's enticing. But like, I can't let her know because it's a very cat-like question.
You got to keep up your own mystique here as well, right? Yeah.
It's like,
I want your attention. So not now, though.
I like it. Ina, which of those relationship questions you want to answer right now?
Well, it's funny that Marguerite craves my attention, but she's playing it cool because she seems to exemplify the freedom I lack. I can't tell if I'm more envious of her or attracted to her.
Legit. So
wow, I love what's happening between these two characters.
So you are aware of some of her some of her sneaky thievery, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah. Like I am entering into this presuming that we know each other and have maybe done a few missions together, and and the extent to which she doesn't seem to answer to anybody, and if she wants things she just takes them is fascinating and like simultaneously extremely attractive and very scary.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, and I think it's a good assumption to assume to work with the idea that these characters know each other and have worked together, so that we aren't in the oh, who are you? What's your deal? Stage.
Yeah, I always find that so awkward and so not fun to play.
Yeah, in fact, I think part of the assumption is that the player characters are regulars at a place nicknamed Checkpoint Midnight. Which we will define in the second session because I'm still working on the rules for that. But
no problem.
I'm stealing some ideas there from something Jim has done in Running Urban Shadows with this meeting point called Covet Prime. So anyway, a little preview to what we'll look at later. Maria, which of those relationship questions, or I see you've got some answers already.
Yeah, because I think Maria is very straightforward. So I'll just go with the first question. I have both answered, but I'll go with the first one. So Marguerite is wise and has taught you much about humanity. Which is so funny, like seeing the most cat-like person and saying, you are the epitome of humanity to me. I think because when I see Marguerite, there's this sense that she's enjoying herself, that she enjoys playing these games, and it teaches me a lot about humanity. Versus when I see Ina, I see that the humanity's draining out of her.
Yeah. In fact, let's just have you do your second question now, and we'll loop back. So for your second question, there, Maria, what do you have?
I have here: Ina is foolish and clearly mistaken about their own purposes. You will help them. Like, I feel that Ina has lost her spark, lost her way. Like, even though Maria doesn't understand humanity completely and is not human, I think she can see it in Ina, that Ina needs help. And I think the main way Maria keeps thinking, I need to get Ina to connect to something again. I need her to care about something again. Perhaps she needs a collection, or maybe she needs to...
Yeah, collections are helpful.
Yeah, collections are the way.
That absolutely sounds good to me. Does that sound good to everybody? Yeah. Moving back to Ina, your other question there.
Maria has sought to help me and suffered for it. Do I look at them with pity or with hope? And I think it's pity.
Oh,
Because they're like, they're a doll that wants to be a girl, and they'll never be a girl. And it almost makes me feel sad to watch their efforts, because first of all, whatever they're going to do with me is not going to work. Like, that's a given as far as I'm concerned. And they are just like they have a, they are gonna, like, the only mercy that like regular people have from the disappointment of life is that eventually it ends. And she is just going to be just disappointed forever.
So you think that's
I feel bad for her.
You think that's the suffering too, that because you know that their help will be useless to you, they will continue to experience this disappointment.
So I like if we can just like get real specific about what that is there. I think that is, I think they are suffering. They may not think that they are.
Right. Yeah. These relationships
but I see that as like, oh my God, that must be killing them. That they're, that they're constantly trying to do this and it's not having any effect.
Yeah.
When in fact, they may just be a confirmed optimist. So
as
far as I'm
but
concerned,
it's one of those interesting things where we're projecting onto each other.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, totally.
Right.
Yeah, these relationships are definitely framed from the subjectivity of each playbook, and yeah, you can decide how accurate other people's takes on you are. So I think finally, Marguerite, one more relationship there. Tell us about it.
Maria caught me trying to steal something from them. What was it? And do I respect or resent them for letting me off with a warning? Well, I respect them because they're just so wonderfully chipper and optimistic. They don't seem to be holding it over me. What was it?
Yeah, maybe something in the artist's apartment. Maybe they had something valuable that Maria couldn't recognize as valuable because it's not a mirror.
It's not a mirror.
I look at that you have that release move called modular with leave a piece of yourself behind. I mean, could it have been some kind of essential component?
Oh, what do you guys think? Is it some piece of Maria that Marguerite was trying to steal, or is it something of the artist, like a sketchbook?
Something the artist had that, like, maybe it was old and they didn't know the value of it. Like, I'm like, oh no, so that was a hand me down. Okay, you don't.
Or it was just like a piece of stolen Nazi art that just was just like hanging around, right? I mean, because there's so much of that stuff all around Europe that maybe it was, it was like a thing that he saw in a dustbin somewhere that somebody had been trying to hide, and he just threw it up on the wall and had just because he thought it looked nice but didn't know what it was.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Does that work, yes. Maria? You think your artist might have had something like that?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think like when I can see it when Marguerite tried to take it, there was just this innocent moment of like, I see. All right, but that doesn't belong to you. But I can ask when he gets back, and then maybe we can give it to you then.
It doesn't belong to him either.
And then, like, so Maria's like, I must study this idea of belonging and possession.
Beautiful. Yeah. So the last thing to do here, as we're defining this stuff, is just the way the leverage you give out. So Marguerite, your leverage there says, despite your facade, you care a lot about how people think of you. Give leverage to all but one of the other PCs. So since we've just got the two here, who gets the leverage?
Let's see. I'm gonna just roll a die. Odd Jim. or odd, Ina, even Maria. It is odd, so Ina.
All right. Ina has
Like-
leverage over you. That makes sense.
It's a 50-50 shot, so I'm like, both make sense. So
you're playing it cool, but that leverage is there. Ina, you don't easily let people in, but sometimes the inner tempest spills out. Give leverage to one fellow PC. Who's got the leverage?
Absolutely, Maria does. I want to avoid try to avoid giving Marguerite leverage. Maria will use her leverage over me responsibly.
It's
Yeah.
true. It's true.
flirting is responsible.
For as a reminder, leverage means someone kind of has power to influence or pressure you. When you're targeting someone you have leverage over, you always roll with advantage when you try to bring them around, kind of the social move, and you can burn your leverage on them to roll with advantage on any move targeting them. So that's part of how that works. Maria, let's see. It says, in your own unusual way, you care about everyone. Give leverage to all fellow PCs. So everybody's got that leverage over you. That's nice.
Yes. Everybody matters to me.
Let's so as a preview, we're gonna
that is your downfall.
as a preview, we're gonna hard frame into a mission when we come back, just so we can hit the ground running and start exploring these characters. But we're gonna take 10 minutes for a bio break now. So at 5 past the hour, 9 for us on Eastern Standard Time, we will reconvene and start doing some play. All right, see you guys then. Hey, very good. Looks like we're back. Everybody ready? Excellent. So let me tell you a little about this mission. Boris Stepanovich, who is a shady importer, someone of Russian extraction, but who's lived in Vienna for a long time, owns a magic bullet. The scuttlebutt out, in the kind of darker corners of the city is that he's come into possession of the bullet that slew Vienna's greatest wizard, and the bullet has absorbed the magical power of its victim, and now this, kind of underworld figure has come into possession of it. No one knows what he's going to do with it, so various factions are trying to get it for themselves. Let me ask some questions to set this up a little. Ina, is this a mission that dear Bradley has tasked you with, or is this something that you're taking on a more freelance basis?
Oh, I think Bradley's, but like this is all hands on deck as far as the CIA is concerned. I think, yeah, Bradley absolutely is, and I presume I'm probably not the only asset he has looking for this thing.
Quite possibly.
Oh yeah, Bradley is absolutely he's, the prospect that this might, that something like this, might be used is a real problem for, like American presidents are pretty well protected, but a magic bullet, that would be bad news for an American president. So
bad news for
they definitely want to keep that out of the hands of anybody that might misuse it.
Oh, totally. Did he tell you
not use it themselves?
No,
but keep it out of the hands of anybody that might misuse
use a magic bullet. Implausible. Did he tell you to recruit your friends for this, or did you decide to bring them along as backup?
I think like he is, as a good CIA guy, it's everything is deniability with him. So he gives he has never met Maria or Marguerite. He doesn't I presume he has some idea of who they are and stuff like this, but I never talk about them. I never tell him how I get the job done. Just he's only concerned that I do, and that if I get caught or captured, they will deny any, connection or,
but
responsibility for me. So yeah,
that's how that works. Marguerite, did it take any convincing for you to come along, or are you happy to be trying to lift a magic bullet from a shady fellow like Boris?
I think it did take some convincing, because one, I have no use for a magic bullet other than keeping it away from others that might want to use it against me. But I'm not going to be keeping it if I'm helping Ina with this. But also, Boris he's pretty well connected, and if he were to find out, then it would not be great.
So what swung you around? Was it just the thrill of the thing, or was there something else on offer?
It's all right, Marguerite. I'm sure Isabel can help me.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up too. I heard Isabel was also after it, so I'm like, well, fuck.
I see. A matter of professional pride here. Yeah. And I think Boris is a hard man to pin down, but you've received intelligence that he's definitely going to be there at a major art opening at Belvedere Palace, where Klimt's The Woman in Gold is being put back on display after a scare that it might have been destroyed. It's been fully restored. Everything's copacetic, and there's a celebratory exhibition, and Boris is not going to miss that because he loves him some Klimt. Maria, what's your take on all this? How did you get brought in? What do you think of this mission from your perspective? What is the mission really, right?
Oh yeah, that's a really good question for Maria, because I'm also thinking she's really just happy enough to be with her friends and to help out, but I'm also thinking, how does she always end up in these spy mission
Situations.
situations. I think I'd have to say for Maria, it's really because she wants to make sure Ina's going to be okay. Like she's just going to look after her and take care of her motherly, or her idea of what a mother is that way.
You think of yourself as kind of her backup, supporter there. Yeah, that works. So let's try this out. I've lifted this to some degree from Blades in the Dark, which is a great game, where if you'll move over in your character keeper to mission moves, I've added this little kind of kickoff move for when you embark on a mission, and it's got some questions that we ask. And since we are like using this as the kickoff of the whole session, we can author a little fiction as we go, right? And I'm not going to be too suspicious about authoring fiction here, because that's what we're here to do. So when we embark on a mission, answer these questions together. Do you have good intel about the mission? What's our sense? Do we think our intel's good going in?
I don't other than that Boris has the bullet somewhere, and I don't think
he'll
we
be
do.
At this place. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not much.
Yeah, I mean, we know that we don't have
know who, where.
Yeah, but
there's a couple other questions, aren't there?
Blueprints of vaults or anything like that, or lists of guards, or who's got that attaché case handcuffed to their wrist or whatever. Yeah, this is not that kind of thing.
A museum, though, right?
Yeah, so the Belvedere, former palace of the Habsburgs, was heavily damaged in the war, actually, but by the time of our story in the 1950s was operating again as a museum displaying classical and more contemporary art.
Yeah, I would say that because of Maria's connection with her artist friend, that it might make sense that she's been here before and she understands the ins and outs, and she has something of a blueprint that she can sketch out for everybody.
So that's good.
Makes sense. Yeah, because I feel like it connects to her backstory a bit.
Well, maybe so the second question is, do you have resources or connections that will help with this mission? And maybe that's a yes to that then, that right. Maria has this has some inside knowledge about the museum.
Yeah, that makes sense. I feel like Maria and I definitely know how to get in and out of this museum.
Yeah, legit. All right, so that's a +1. That's great. Other questions, though. Does everyone participating in this mission trust the leader's competence and intentions?
And Ina's the leader, right?
Seems like it. Does anyone contest that Ina's the leader?
I mean, I'm not in charge.
Maria's not in charge, so.
Ina, the role of leadership seems to have fallen to you. Do you trust your own competence and intentions?
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Absolutely, right. Yeah.
I would love a game in the future where someone says, "No, I don't trust myself."
No, I'm working.
Makes sense. So we're not taking a -1 for that. Sounds like that's enough of a yes there. Is everyone being upfront about their own agendas and motives for the mission? It sounds like Marguerite, you kind of were fairly transparent with Ina that you're doing this, as part of your professional rivalry with Isabella. Is that correct?
Yep. I was like, I don't want it, but I don't want her to win it, get it.
All right.
I don't want anyone to have it.
All right. Then if everyone feels they're being upfront, sounds like we're going to be making a roll with a +1. As the leader, Ina, you get to do the honors. Will you go ahead and roll 2d6 with a +1?
Yeah, we'll do. It's going to be these top 2 dice here on under my character there.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, nope. Press the wrong button. Reroll selected says that is a 9 +1 gets us to 10.
9 +1 gets you to a 10. All right. That is off to a great start, because what the mission move says is, on a 10+, you're golden. We pick up with you already in the midst of the mission, having dealt with the first obstacle and coming from a position of strength. This is great. Let's use this as an opportunity to paint the scene. So I'll ask each person what do we see in this kind of opening, like this cold open montage, right? Of you guys, making your way, into this art opening, with or without invitations, and starting to like, hone in on your target. Marguerite, how do we, should I make this complicated? Yeah. Give me like two little details. What we see here, in the palace, that shows the kind of scars of war and division still linger even in this kind of height of luxury within the city. And then what we see Marguerite doing, that's furthering the mission and getting us into the thick of the things. Does that make sense as a kind of double to paint the scene question?
Sure, I think so.
All right. What do you think? What do you think we see?
All right. Well, I think it's a museum, so like there were paintings, so you can see like they have paintings up to replace them, but you can see like the imprints of like where it used to be larger paintings, and they're like trying to cover up what was stolen or destroyed with other art pieces of art. Like trying to like, look, they don't have everything, but they're doing their best to cover up and still fill it up to draw in a crowd. And
yeah, absolutely. Some things that were looted were never recovered, but they're doing their best to keep up the appearances here. And what do we see Marguerite doing?
I think it's one of those like she's got a glass of something as she's talking with clearly one of the men that works for, is it Boris?
Yeah, Boris. I'm sure he's got some of his
like she's flirting, and like you see her like pulling out like something from his inside his coat pocket.
just kind of snagging something carried by one of Boris's goons or supporters here.
Probably like right. I'd say key card, but it's the 50s, so
could just be a key, right?
Yeah,
like a little key, like it would unlock a briefcase or something.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like it. What do we see that shows us, the kind of the scars of past conflict still present, even here in this Grand Museum, and what do we see Ina doing that's pushing forward the mission, overcoming whatever the sort of initial challenges are.
Oh, sorry.
I think one thing that we see, it's a museum, right? So there are like guards and staff on duty and something like that, and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, totally.
And all of them are clearly veterans with some kind of war injury. We can see we see a guard that's got an eye patch, and another one that has his sleeve taped, neatly folded up and safety pinned to his uniform and stuff like that. Another one is like his foot kind of clunks a little when he walks with a limp, right? And so the guards that are there are like they would be soldiers right now, because there's soldiers stationed all around the city and stuff like that.
Sure,
but they were injured. Like all of them received some kind of war wound. That means they're doing this instead of actually being soldiers anymore.
Absolutely. And what do we see Ina doing to kind of clear whatever first hurdles are presented here?
I think absolutely. She is entertaining those guards.
Oh yeah?
She has kind of one by one like laughing and like flirting with them, is asking them to like explain, like to basically serve as guides and everything. And she has this like gold lame dress that makes her look like a like she's a cousin to the actual woman in the painting.
Absolutely, reflecting the gold of the painting.
And she has just entranced the museum staff that are supposed to be paying attention and watching that nobody goes, into where it says staff only and all that kind of stuff and everything. And she has just kind of like gathered everybody's attention and they're whatever, trying to, tell her stories. And she's like asking them, and she's totally asking them for war stories and like enraptured by their answers. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You're hearing these war stories and like, giving some of these men like are feeling like, the conquering hero for the first time as they entertain this sparkling, golden blonde. So Maria, what sort of traces of the past conflict and present division in the city are you picking up on, or not picking up on if what we see is Maria like just totally missing this, right?
So as I understand it in the setting, because I did join this game, but my world history is actually pretty weak. But from what I read, like the entire city's like just carved up into different sections, right?
Yep, a Soviet sector, a French sector, a British sector, and an American sector. A sector in the middle that changes hands on a monthly basis between the great powers.
Yeah. So I feel like there's like a lot of tension in the room, right? There are certain key players. There are the British hanging out and everything, and the lines are very clear to anyone who walks in who is not Maria. So like everyone can feel how people are taking stock of each other from the corner of their eye, how people are taking notes, how people are trying to present themselves as people of power very subtly. And Maria's just wearing, because usually she's an oversized trench coat, but not to stand out in this like fancy crowd. She's in an oversized fur coat, like to cover her face.
That's great.
But the hat's like a little too big, and it's got like all these feathers coming out. But people just assume Maria is like an eccentric. I want to say that there is actually someone in the city who shows up at the art exhibits who looks like that, and Maria knows, I've seen her around. I can pretend to.
Oh, totally.
Like
to be her.
It's like a gallery owner. That sounds like a gallery owner, someone who would be doing that stuff, yeah.
Right. And then she never talks to anybody. She's always just there to look. So Maria feels like, I can pretend to be. It's easy enough. I just need a really big fur coat.
Really big so you're incognito, but you're also like moving like straight through, crossing the like little invisible boundaries that were keeping some of the like the various Western visitors to the city hanging out in one corner of a room, and then another corner there's Soviet attaches and Russian emigres who are more hanging out, and you're not paying attention to those kind of human lines of division at all.
Yeah, and I feel like it's sending messages out like, this gallery owner is choosing certain people, and Maria has no idea, right? Maria doesn't know what she's doing to this person's reputation.
Excellent. Any bit of this montage that shows Maria helping us kind of work towards getting our mission objective here.
I do feel that even though Maria can't understand any of the humans, she sees the servant robots that are around. So these robots are handling the more menial labor that no one wants to do, like the garbage stuff or handling stuff or moving things around, laborers. And Maria is able to, I feel like there's a way these like robots can like communicate very subtly, like they can, in the way that Maria cannot understand human interaction. She can understand the subtle ways that the robots are moving and communicating with each other, that she's keeping track of them. And so she's able to see the comings and goings.
Does that work for folks that in like our slightly heightened pulpy setting, there may be some robotic servitors around the edges of things?
Hell yeah!
All right. Well, that's certainly an asset then. If you're specifically like you're picking up on what they're kind of what they're communicating amongst themselves, Maria.
Yeah. It's like in Star Wars when those robots that can't talk to humans, but you can tell they're communicating to each other. Like they're giving off beep beep boop 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 kind of sounds. Yeah. And Maria understands these sounds, and so some of the sounds are like, how people assume R2-D2 is swearing all the time. I think that's what's happening. Like there's this one servitor who's like, God damn it, like here we go again, goddamn humans. Like,
Yeah,
and like 1950s, like that kind of like chugging teletype noise, that kind of like that seems like totally a way that they could communicate with each other. Yeah, you have to feed punch cards into them to tell them what to do if you're a person, but they can just kind of ching and chank at each other. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's great. And whoever Maria's creator was, she's a different sort of robot. She's got a much more intuitive operating system, right? Because she can talk to people. But these robotic brethren, a bit more low tech there. Yeah, but I'm sure one of them is kind of like moving along and kind of like just sort of resignedly scooping up whatever kind of refuse the careless humans are leaving or have tracked into this fancy gallery setting.
It's releasing. Go ahead.
In 1955, they're emptying ashtrays because we're all smoking.
Yes, everyone is smoking up a storm in front of these priceless paintings, and like one of the robots like specifically has like a little lighter, right? It reaches out and lights people's cigarettes when they've gone out, and another robot is just like emptying the ashtrays into itself and just kind of like you, Maria, here it's kind of like resigned cough, right? Every time it's taking in those ashtrays. Totally.
Yeah, I feel like it's going cough, cough, meat bag, cough, cough. Just, like this one is an upset one. Everyone else is okay.
That's excellent. Yeah, I think we'll go ahead and say you pick up from some of that mechanical chatter among the robots that Boris is here and is not mingling with the rest of the guests, but has kind of gone to a back room where the museum staff prepare things and is apparently in a tense conversation with a curator from the museum, and the robots are like giving it a wide berth because they've been instructed. The curator had like shooed them all out, but they're like kind of gossiping amongst themselves about what's going down there. So you get that bit of information. We'll say you're all close enough to reconvene and compare notes if you need to. Maria, what do you do at that point?
I think Maria would go to I think Maria really sees Ina as the leader. So Maria will bumble along, interrupting mid-flirt, and then just sort of like show up all of a sudden, like in a really creepy robot kind of way. Like one second she's there, she's not there. The next second she's suddenly next to Ina. And then her eyes glint gold behind all of the ridiculous like hat and furs. And but she says I feel like even though Maria looks that way, she has a very melodic voice. And so she says, Ina, I have though I assume you have a fake name here, right? Like you're not using your real name.
So like I am totally fine in that like magical realism James Bondy kind of way.
Right.
We just call each other by our names, and that's totally fine. Okay. And somehow that all works out for us, secret agent wise. Like I just because just to step out for a second as Jim, I have enough trouble just like names are a thing that I have just some difficulty with just interpersonally, and so if we got to have a different name for every mission, it's gonna like mess with my head. So I'm very comfortable with us just using each other's regular names and. Like I said, kind of doing that like hand wavy espionage movie thing.
Yeah. Oh, Marguerite needs no pseudonym.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that works for me if it works for you.
But yeah, for sure. Oh, whoops! I feel like I'm kind of losing. Can people still see me?
Yep.
Yeah, you're coming through.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm being told my connection's unstable. Yeah, in case I suddenly drop out... Ooh, let me just write this down.
Thanks. Yes, very good. We're still seeing and hearing you fine, I think.
Yep.
So
yep. Can you hear us?
Can you hear us? Is the question, I guess.
I guess we might need to type it.
Ooh.
It's like those robots talking to each
Yeah,
other.
ironically, you're coming into me like robots, which is so funny considering the
Oh,
character I'm
dun,
playing.
dun, dun.
I will just sign in and out. See if it
Yeah,
helps.
see if signing in and out works. We'll, if it's okay, we'll keep on going a little bit. Assume you've received this information, the intel from the robots, from your friend Maria. After you've kind of broken off your latest, sparkling conversation with one of these museum guardians. What do you do?
So what? Sorry, remind me again specifically. Like what specifically is the information that I've got here?
Yeah, the robots were gossiping that Boris is back in one of the kind of off limits to guest rooms, having what sounds like a tense conversation with the museum curator.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think that I totally am going to, let's see what I got happening here. So I kind of excuse myself from the, tell them to keep my seat in front of the painting warm, and that I'm going to go powder my nose. And this is where I will actually, hang on a sec. Let me just. Yeah, I will go to the I've got a where are they there? Like are they in the curator's office or?
Ooh, yeah, that works. Sure, it's like a kind of basically like behind the scenes, right? So like
Sure.
off of one of the main exhibits halls, there's a door you're not supposed to go into, but behind it is where kind of the curator does some of that high level planning for exhibits, and Boris is apparently back there, and any like robot helpers that were in there were like quickly and perhaps rudely ushered out when he went back there.
Got it. And so I kind of go to the like ladies' room that's like the powder room that's like down the hall from that office. And I let myself in, and when the door closes, I lock it behind me so that I'm the only one in the room there. And I walk down the row of sinks, and I turn on the cold tap on each one of them.
Yeah.
And I walk to the center sink, and I just kind of like put my hands to either side of the of the sink, and I kind of put my head down, and I've stoppered each of the sinks, right?
So that they'll overflow.
They're filling up, and as soon as it's about to it's like full about to overflow, I walk back down and turn them all off, and then I like let all the air out of my lungs and just plunge my face into the cold water of that middle sink. And for a second I hear like and maybe some noises in the museum, but then it resolves into the oh, you know what? And as I wait, tense, hoping that I'm gonna get some useful information, I'm gonna spend a stress. I'm gonna mark a stress, and I'm going to mark a stress and call in my element to aid me. It brings me something it thinks will help or comfort me.
I love it. Yeah.
And I know that they've got ice cubes in those drinks that they're having. So.
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah. I think you start hearing like first just the clinking of those ice cubes, and then you start hearing what's going on in that office. You hear kind of voices raised. You hear Boris saying, an admirable illusion, but it is only that. And I'm sure you would prefer no one else learns this. As like you hear like the kind of protestations and kind of bordering on pleading coming from the curator speaking to Boris. But let's see, just double checking this move. The MC will detail exactly how the element does this and what other harm it might unwittingly cause along the way. So you're catching this. It seems like Boris is like putting pressure on the curator. He knows something. Hey, welcome back. Are you here?
Yes, I'm here. So sorry. My internet just committed suicide for.
Oh man.
I think someone. Anyway, I won't interrupt. Go. I'm just glad to be back.
Oh yeah, good to have you back.
Is this sufficient to allow me to roll Decipher?
Yeah, to try to learn some more about what's going on.
Yes, yeah.
You definitely can.
I am using a supernatural sense here, for sure. So I'm going to roll plus Fable on this.
Yeah, roll plus Fable.
What you missed, Maria, was that I went into the ladies' room and I turned all the taps on and filled all the sinks, and then plunged my face into one. I tuned into the ice cubes that were in their drinks, and it let me eavesdrop on their conversation.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool!
Yeah,
I love it.
Let's see how we do here on my attempt to eavesdrop here. Oh, not well is the answer. That is even with my +2. That will only get me to a 6.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do we mark XP in this when we miss?
You do mark XP when you miss.
Okay.
The XP is in the advancement tab next to the main PC tab. And tell me whether you're marking XP with the West or with the Soviets here.
Oh, absolutely with the West. This is I am on mission for the CIA here. So,
yep.
Do I mark it? Where's the first place I mark it?
Furthest left, furthest top.
There we go, top left. Got it.
Yeah, done. You're kind of you're working across, and each time you fill up a row, you move down to the next row.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So definitely a miss. Give me. Actually, we'll cut away from you if you don't mind. Maybe we hear. Maybe you're hearing some of this conversation, and then you start hearing the ice cubes rattling a little harder. Actually, let me double check. Sorry, I forgot my own miss condition here. With Decipher, on a miss, still ask one, but you're in the MC's hand. Prepare for the worst. So you still get to ask one of those questions.
All right, cool. Let me flip over to my questions here. Oh, who's in control in that? Yeah.
Oh, a good question. Absolutely. I think it's pretty clear that Boris is in control. I think you put together, just from hearing a few of these exchanges through your kind of watery spy device here, that the painting is a fake somehow. It's not. It hasn't really been restored. And Boris knows this and is holding it over the curator, who's a Mr. Alexandre Bisset. You catch his name, and wants something from him. Sounds like Boris has some kind of a need for another artifact from this museum, and is trying to turn the screws here on the curator. But we hear those ice cubes rattling a little more, and we hear Boris saying something like, "Hold on, what's that?" Before we cut away. So Maria, you conveyed this to Anna, letting her know about what the robots were telling you. Do you approach Marguerite?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I go up to the cat. That's a human. That's a cat. That's a human. And I give her the same message. I believe that we're stronger if everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
And I also say that Ina went ahead doing I'm not sure what. Like Maria's just kind of lost.
Marguerite, you've lifted a key from one of Boris's goons. Probably around when Maria is bringing you this message is when you spot someone making her own way through the crowd here, with that obnoxious red hair, and that just too much lipstick. You believe it's over the top.
It's just perfect. That's why I hate it.
Your rival Isabella Rossi is here.
Oh my gosh, can we say they're wearing something similar and they look really good in it? Like that would really piss someone off.
Always.
Yeah, Marguerite, tell us what you're wearing and how Isabella is possibly one-upping you.
I'm wearing like a black shimmery number. She's wearing a white shimmery number. And like it's the same exact design. It's just the color is inverted. And I'm like,
it's like, how did she do
white.
that?
How terrible. No one else can pull off white.
Marguerite, what do you do?
Damn. It's like, oh, well, I mean, obviously I go to give her a warm embrace and do the classical French kiss on each cheek. And like, Isabella, so wonderful to see you. Oh, you're wearing that again?
Marguerite, how bold of you. She looks your dress up and down.
Stupid bug's back.
You're right there.
The bug is scary. It just crawls up out of nowhere.
There's a bug? What? I thought you were calling her a bug.
But anyway.
If you need to fight the bug off camera, we can cut her away.
Yeah,
right.
sure.
It's a stink bug, so I don't want to kill it. Because then
so tricky. All right. Yeah. So she's definitely casting like genteel shade on your dress and your presence.
It's like, how bold of you to wear last year's fashion again.
No, she nods. She's like, no, I admire you. It's the fashion world is too of the moment. It's good for someone to remind us of where we have been. Don't you agree?
We're all very glad that you are here to provide that for us.
So are you primarily sniping at her, or are you trying to get something out of this?
Oh. Okay, yeah, I've got it. It's like, and I can see you've come to pay your respects to see the painting, and I'm sure if you wanted to greet the host, he just slipped away towards the cargo area. So I'm gonna try to trick her.
Oh, interesting. You're laying a false trail for her, trying to throw her off the scent.
Yes, I am.
All right. Yeah. Go ahead and roll plus operator.
Yeah. Operator.
Operator. Oh my goodness. All right, Marguerite.
You wrote it.
I didn't write purr into it. That's all on you.
You wrote a carrot-based character. Yeah,
it's true. I did.
That's a 9 plus 2. It's 11.
Wow. Okay. Let's
on a hit. They're fooled, at least for the moment. On a 10 plus, choose 3.
Yeah. So talk to me about the options you're going to pick here from Mislead, Distract, or Trick.
All right. The options that exist are: you create an opportunity for yourself or another, perhaps granting advantage. You expose a weakness or secret and gain leverage. You definitely keep them confused for more than a moment or two. You don't have to throw someone else under the bus. Well, I'm gonna definitely choose keep them confused for more than a moment or two.
Right. Yeah.
What does it leverage do when you already have leverage on an NPC?
Oh, interesting. When you already have leverage, you gain a chit instead, and a chit is just kind of a more of a sort of currency you can spend to give yourself advantage. So it's just a sort of nice bonus hanging around. Okay. But I don't know. Do you have leverage on Isabella yet?
Yeah, I thought because we're rivals. No, that's Talia. That's right.
Yeah, you and Talia have leverage on each other, but so far not on Isabella.
All right then. Well, then I expose a weakness or secret and gain leverage. I was going to do it anyway. So weaknesses or secrets are fun. Let's see. Do I throw someone under the bus? No. All right. Got to create an opportunity for myself or another, perhaps granting advantage.
So you are throwing someone under the bus.
Yeah, someone's getting thrown under that bus.
Any ideas who, or shall we play to find out?
Oh, I think I said, oh man, Maria, the art gallery owner, saw him heading to the back.
I see. So you're pinning this ruse on Maria.
Yeah, totally. Oh, she's a black screen now.
All right. Hopefully she'll rejoin us in just a moment. So yeah, Isabella kind of like looks, I think like arches a like perfect eyebrow at you for a moment as you start spinning this tale. But when you say that Maria spotted the gallery proprietor, probably she like regards Maria for a moment and then kind of has a slightly more trusting expression, perhaps understanding something of Maria's nature here, and she is therefore kind of covering for your deceptiveness. Yeah, that's great. So you're gonna fool her for more than a moment. She's probably gonna say the last cutting thing and then float off towards this lead. But she'll
weakness her secret.
Yeah, a weakness or secret. That's good. Yeah. I think it's really just that you like see the way her eyes dart all around the room, and she's checking on all the same people that you were checking on, right? Boris's entourage, and so you're going to get leverage because that she wants the same thing that you're after here. That the leverage is she's kind of with these micro expressions given up what she's here for, and so now you've got that to hold over. Does that work for you as leverage?
Sure, yeah.
Let me give you. Hopefully, Jamie's able to drop out and jump back in. Let me give you something in addition to that, because I think that's definitely true that you get that, but maybe she's turning to go, she says something like, I never get to see you anymore at the Schönbrunn Palace, and I so miss our little walks through the statuary there. Don't you ever wonder what it would be like to be one of those mythical goddesses? I certainly do. And then she like laughs a high tinkling laugh, but it like lasts for slightly too long, such that you feel like she's kind of in her own way given away more of her like long game than she meant to with this comment.
Dun dun dun.
That work for you?
Oh yeah.
Then I think like she says you must go with me there one more time. I insist. It's so lovely in the winter. and then kind of pats you on the shoulder. But wear something a little more substantial, or you'll be cold there, my dear Marguerite. And then like turns on her heel and is heading, in a slightly winding way, but definitely in the direction you were pointing her. Marguerite, you've pushed a rival out of the scene a little here.
Yeah, that's her.
Can you give me a sense of what your next move might be? Where do you think Marguerite's aiming at this point to what she's aiming to do?
Well, I was hoping to create an opportunity for my team, because now we have one less person in the way. But I don't know exactly what Ina was up to, so
yeah.
I think we don't have comms. It's great.
Yep.
So I guess Marguerite can easily head towards the water closet, and she can get in the job.
Yeah. So I think this works because you're creating some kind of an opportunity. So I think someone will probably get to roll with advantage thanks to this. The opportunity is both like getting a rival operator out of the way and letting you head towards Ina now, right? Because Maria had a sense of where she went, and you're headed that way too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Then I think
I'm very good at breaking and entering.
I think what you see is that a cluster of people are gathered around the locked water closet door. Several. There's this a lady or two there complaining to a servitor robot that it's locked, and they demand it be opened. It's unconscionable to make them go down all the stairs to the lower level water closet. And the robot is protesting that it doesn't know why it was locked. But like coming over is someone who looks like a guard, but unlike these other guards, it doesn't have a missing limb or a missing eye. Looks like totally able-bodied, in fact brawny, and is coming over saying, "It's all right, I can handle this," and starts knocking loudly on the door saying, "All right, if there's somebody in there, please make yourself decent. We're coming in." So you're hearing that from inside, Ina. Marguerite, you're seeing that from outside. Maria, you're probably seeing that from outside too if you're sticking with Marguerite. Does that work? All right. Let's see.
Ooh, I can try to talk to him to convince him to do something else, anything else.
Oh, try to talk to the guard at the door here.
Yeah, I think I want to try, because if I understand this correctly, this thing called a soul will give me advantage for when I try to bring them around. Is that right? I'm looking at the moves.
Yeah. So let's talk about that move. When you explain how someone exemplifies what is unique and fascinating about humanity, roll with advantage to back them up or bring them around. So your kind of main social roles, you can gain a bonus to if you're specifically taking that kind of outsider view of humanity there, and somehow holding them up as a model human.
Right, and then right now he just looks kind of impatient. He's trying to get his point across. Is that right? He's saying, "We're going to come in if you don't."
Yeah. He's a big guy, not looking, doesn't bear the scars that some of the other guards do, and seems to be getting ready to maybe break open this door. From the inside, you heard through your little water radio, Boris suddenly getting suspicious. You probably heard him bark a couple orders in Russian, which you understood him to be telling a buddy of his to check on that bathroom. So you've got that context for the heavy hand hammering the door. I want to check how Maria does with this first, especially because of the tech difficulties we're running into. So I want to make sure we get them here.
I know. So sorry, everybody.
No worries. Maria, what's your approach here? What does it look like as you come on over in your fur coat and feathery hat that tries to hide your robotic form.
Right. Because like the thing with Maria is that she's not good at lying per se. She's good at being incredibly earnest, and so I think that's what they're going to do here. They're going to. I think Maria is enraptured with the idea of trying to be a good person, trying to protect people, but also being mean about it, like sounding gruff about it. Like Maria doesn't understand how those two things connect. And feels like, yes, humans and their ability to contain multitudes is fascinating.
Are you also going into this knowing that you may be saving this guy's life if he's coming in the bathroom after me?
Yeah, for sure. That's really I'm trying to minimize the number of people you have to kill. That's really what's happening. So I think I just want to get him to talk to me, and explain to me, what are you going through? How are you feeling? Can I talk to you for a second? Can I help you? I'm just trying to be overly earnest. Does that make sense for the move?
Yeah, totally. It does, as long as you're including that moment where you say humans containing multitudes. Here you are, a guard, and yet you must act with force. To guard.
And I'm sure to him he's like, oh, these artist types, these gallery types talking about humanity in the abstract. I think that's what he thinks I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and roll with 3 and then pick which ones I like.
Yeah,
Ooh, 6 and 6.
Dice. Is this in the roll for your party, or I see over here? Wow. So that's boxcars. What's your dreamer stat?
My dreamer stat is already 3. So it's kind of insane. It's kind of an insane roll.
You buffed that one, huh?
Yeah, I really buffed. Yeah, because I wanted to really go into the whole robot that's good at talking more so. Because even though I know she has that. Go ahead.
In a slightly paradoxical way, because you're not talking like any ordinary person here, right? You're not coming off necessarily as, yes, this is totally normal, but something's just fascinating, right? He's turning away from his task. So bring someone around. When you bring someone around to your plan or dream, give them a reason and roll plus dreamer. So for NPCs on a 10+, they'll go along with you unless or until some factor action betrays the reason you gave them. So tell me what exactly you're drawing him to do, right? What is Maria hoping to get out of this?
If I can justify the ridiculously high roll, I want him to suddenly open up and start crying about his life and he's just, I'm trying so hard for everybody, no one really, and Maria's like, yes, I'm here to listen, I'm here to understand, and so she quietly pulls him over to the side.
Giving him a little robot-y hug, but it's weirdly soft because of your big fur coat.
Ridiculous fur coat, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. So let's give this guy a name. This is Wolfgang, and he is he at first just kind of eyeballs you, who's this lady? What's she doing? And then as you start telling him that he exemplifies humanity, he just starts breaking down. And definitely kind of collapses into you a little. He's like, nobody understands how hard it is.
I understand that it probably started while you were a child. What did your mother and father say to you to pressure you so? So I really just but Maria's really interested. Maria's fully present in the moment. I have to stress that. She's not
she's not putting this on. She's genuinely interested in getting this guy's life story.
Yes, absolutely.
So what definitely comes out is he just totally drops any pretense of being a museum guard and just starts talking openly about how Morris does for him and how he beat up this punk that was coming after Boris last week, and what does it get so much as a thank you? No, right?
And gratitude is important. Gratitude is so important.
It is. You don't do this for kicks. I want to be appreciated. I want people to acknowledge what I'm doing for them. So yeah, you've got this guy for a moment in a there's no longer that hammering, but there's still a sort of a queue of people clustered around the bathroom door, and you can hear them talking through it. What do? You got some information with your water radio, but it seems that somehow Boris has a sense of your location, or a sense that someone is listening in from where you are. So what do you do?
I'm going to leave the bathroom. Which is to say, I'm going to walk over to the window, pull it open, like just slide it open, take 3 or 4 steps back, run at it, dive through, kind of like tuck and go on my side, and fall the 3 stories and just wham, like land in the bushes.
So you are not the player who took the move, not the fall that kills you.
I am not, but I feel like this is I am using the opportunity of my friend distracting this guard to get out of a place, and I am breaking out of this place.
Yeah. It's not so much a sneak out.
No. This is crashing out.
All right. I'm going to say probably even on a success, you're going to mark a stress here.
That's legit.
Just because you're jumping out of a window several feet off the ground.
Yeah, that seems completely fair. I'm totally cool on that.
But yeah, I'd love to see you roll to break out. That's rolling plus weapon.
Yep.
And I'll. I don't know. I'm trying. I guess. Since Marguerite created that opportunity, you can take it here to take an advantage on this. Does that sound good?
I'm just going to take the 10 I rolled on the 2 dice.
That works as well. So when you break out on
mark that stress
on a 10 plus, you are out, right? You make it, and you aren't leaving something important behind or taking something difficult with you in this case. So so I think you're. I mean, probably it's not a bush that you landed. Probably it's a fountain, right?
Oh, of course it is. Of course it's a fountain. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So out here. So it's night in the Belvedere Gardens. You splash down and kind of come up. Are you sodden when you come up, or does the water like wick off of you, leaving your dress immaculate still?
So like when I'm in the water, I'm wet. But when I step out, it just like beads up and just pulls off of me, and I look like fucking Grace Kelly. So
a great thing to look like.
Yeah,
I love that quote. I look like fucking Grace Kelly.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
So like many, never mind.
Probably like a few moments after you've exited the bathroom, the robot servitor manages to open the door. Did you set the basins of the sinks to overflow? Like, is there water pooling up on the floor, do we think? Or
I think there's water. I think there. So like what I said was like I filled each of them, but like the only one that overflowed is like the center one because I stuck my face into it, right? So the volume would have caused it to kind of flow over the sides, and so I'm sure like the tile floor is wet and stuff like that and everything. But but there's no one in the bathroom when they come busted in.
Yeah, and the robot is like, if the robot could speak, it would be apologizing, but it's kind of just like putting up whatever hands it has, telling people, it's going to deal with this, it's going to unclog these sinks.
Spins around to go to the mop closet. Yeah,
absolutely. So Marguerite, you see, Inna has made a getaway. Maria is distracting this henchman effectively.
There's a good distraction. There's a large crowd gathered around this bathroom. So
there is a large crowd gathered.
And I'm not eyes on the prize. Gotta remember, eyes on the prize. Got to show up, Isabella. And now, because we've studied blueprints, I've been in and out of this place before. I'm gonna slip off to like a janitor's closet where I know there's an air duct that I can crawl through, and I want to mark some stress to flash back to preparations.
Okay.
Where I stored some like gas grenades or knockout grenade or something, so I could drop them in on Boris while his men are checking out what's going on.
Very classic. So one of the mission moves is when during a mission you can mark stress to flash back to preparation and establish something about your gear or your prep for the mission. And I think a gas grenade is a legit thing. You've like so you flash back. Where do we see like in Marguerite's apartment as she's like gearing up for this mission? Is she like sticking a gas grenade into her like tiny little beaded purse or something?
Oh, I think it was like she stored it in the air ducts before the party.
Oh, like you did a first round casing the joint and you stashed this for yourself.
Yeah.
So great.
All the ducts are connected, so I'm like, all right.
All right. With that stress, you've got your grenade, your gas grenade. It's like a knockout gas, you think?
That works for me.
Is your plan to kind of move to like crawl through the air ducts and just drop it into that office back there?
Yes, it is.
Are you yourself going into the office at all, or you're just trying to?
I'm not like shape-shifting, or I'm doing my thing where I can. I always have an opening to sneak in or out if need be. I can squeeze through impossibly small gaps.
Nice.
Or meld with the shadows themselves.
Let's do a sneak in to get to your position, right, in like the air duct above the relevant office without like alerting someone, right?
So
but yeah,
with as an operator.
As the Matago, you've always got that opening.
Yep. Nope, that's not my dice.
Yeah, purple dice there, I think.
There is a 10 plus 2. I keep forgetting to use that advantage, but I guess I didn't need it.
You guys are rolling amazing.
I know.
This is just gonna go off.
Oh no! You're not allowed to say that as a GM. You can't say people are rolling well. We'll stop doing it.
So yeah, you are silent as a whisper, moving through
like
that.
Quiet as a cat.
No, silent as a whisper.
Oh, fine.
Moving through that air duct, getting positioned. Like, do you slide away the little vent cover so that you've got a clear line of sight down into this room back here?
Yeah. So it's like it tilted open slightly so I can like drop it from above.
Are you're dropping it down?
I don't know. Is there a better way? I've never broken into a place with not that grenade.
I mean, you rolled a 10 on sneak in, so I guess if you drop it down, it lands on something soft and no one notices.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, probably what you see down there actually is that like the curator Bissett, I'll drop a picture for him at some point, is like this stately middle-aged man, but just sweating bullets. He's like sitting on his desk, like kind of staring at Boris. Boris has pulled out a gun. He's not pointing it at the curator. He's pointing it at the door because he seems to be worried that someone's coming after him.
Especially now that his guard's gone.
Yeah, he's pointing a gun at the door, all set to fire at someone coming for him that way. But you've got a different angle of approach here. Yeah. You're just dropping this knockout gas grenade.
So, as Jim suggested.
Oh yeah, yes, exactly. The metal grate lands in the plant, and then
no. I meant like the grenade lands in the plant.
Grenade lands in the plant, and then kind of like the smoke is coming like billowing up from the plant. Absolutely. I'm just double checking if I think there's a role for this.
I don't know.
No, like this is honestly something like violence against the defenseless, right? When you do violence against a completely unsuspecting defenseless target, you just do it. He is not quite defenseless, but he's not looking your direction at all. You've hit him from a completely different angle than you thought. So I think we see the gas fill up the room. We hear like we hear like Boris start coughing. He probably like wheels around and like fires one shot from that gun, but he has no idea where you are. It like, you know, hits some random, he shoots the plant, right? He shoots the plant, but then he like collapses against a chair as like the knockout gas takes effect. And Bissett too, just kind of like rolls over onto his desk, like knocking off some like, you know, he like smashes into actually a little like model of an exhibit that's like set up on his desk for the future. Marguerite, what do you do?
I cover my nose and mouth with a silk handkerchief, of course, as I drop down to search him for, I've got a key, so I search him for this supposed magic bullet or the lead to where, I don't know.
Yeah, Boris has a like metal suitcase just handcuffed to him.
Let's see if this key works.
So your plan is to use the key on the suitcase?
Yeah, if it works.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if those rolls are triggering since like I've knocked everyone out or the guards well distracted and crying. Yeah.
You not everyone out. Are you checking out the suitcase at all before you just stick the key right in and pop it open?
Oh, I mean, when you ask something like that, I feel like I should.
Yeah, maybe, right? You know, up to you.
So I guess so, yeah.
Then tell me if you think it makes sense to roll to decipher the situation.
I mean, sure. Like I'm checking
if there's any obstacles
the James Bond, if it's going to explode in my face when opening, if I doesn't like, hit the right switches, looking around for typical spy traps.
Yeah, that works totally. All right, let's so sounds like you're using natural senses to do it. So yeah. roll plus operator.
All right. Should I finally use this advantage?
Yeah, use this advantage. So, it's been sticking around.
Yeah. All right. Well, it doesn't matter.
Oh man, what's your operator?
One.
Well, you get to pick the two.
Because you said we were rolling well. I just have to say, I'm so superstitious.
So there's a 5.
What's your operator again?
That's a +2. So
okay,
even if it was a +3, it wouldn't be enough.
Beautiful. Yeah, I think that
mark that XP, right?
Yeah, please mark that XP. Tell me what faction you're marking XP with.
The West. I'm working for working alongside Ina.
So. Yeah, working alongside Ina. Mark XP with the West. Okay. Yeah. So I think that
right.
Indeed, you didn't. Everything looked hunky dory as you checked over that case. But
and on a miss, I still ask one, right? But
you still ask one, but you might not like the answer. So what do you ask?
Let's see. What is it really? That doesn't make sense. What should I be on the lookout for? It's like the only question that made sense in the moment. Yeah.
So you open the case, clicks on open. Like a dream, right? And there nestled in it is a little basically a smaller glass case, right? A little, this size glass case with a bullet just sitting in there. And as you lift the bullet out of the case, from behind the bullet, something sprays all over you. It is bright red. It is foul smelling, and you have a sense that it's a little bit of a defensive measure so that someone lifting this without the proper precautions could be caught red-handed, and you should be on the lookout for anyone who seems to be able to track you by scent, given that you've just been marked in a very particular way there. Does that work for you, Marguerite?
Oh yeah, that works for me. I have an exit strategy that's super simple.
Tell me about your exit strategy.
It's ripping off Ina's exit strategy.
Well, and so can I do a Can I do a little flashback to preparations?
Oh, I would love it.
Oh, please, let's hear.
Yeah, so I'm gonna let me spend one stress here. And
Oh, actually, Marguerite, I'd like you to also mark the condition compromised, given that you just got sprayed.
I don't
with
like the sound of that.
tag thing. Yeah.
and we flash back to me arriving at the party in my aquamarine 1955 Bugatti 252 sports car. On loan from the CIA.
No, you don't own your.
I don't I don't own I don't own a sports car. but like I borrowed Brad's. It's Brad's car. Like Brad would totally be like Brad would totally have a sports car, I feel like. And so,
Right.
so like I pull up in it, the valet, his jaw drops when he sees a woman get out of the driver's seat and stuff like that.
Yes.
Hand him the keys, and now we flash forward to I am pulling up like I come around the corner, like up onto the plaza, onto the pedestrian plaza, and like park with the passenger seat like directly under the window of his office.
I land like a cowboy in a movie.
Marguerite,
I am not happy though.
You have not the fall that kills you. You aren't injured by falls, however far. So I'm not going to make you roll get out here, because you've got two things in your corner. You've got the fact that you always land on your feet, and you've got the fact that this car is here for you. So just tell us about your exit through the window, into the waiting vehicle here.
Yeah, so I get sprayed with this stuff. It smells bad to me, so I'm like, oh god. So lifting up the window right as the car is pulling up, and doing like the where I back up butt first, and like I do like the fall backwards, somersaulting through the air, landing perfectly sitting. I'm sure there's a comment about how I look. I'm like, don't.
I don't say anything. I just like my nose just kind of like crinkles a little bit as I floor it.
Thank you. Maria will be fine, right?
Oh, I'm still talking to Wolfgang, and I'm trying to convince him. Like, I've been thinking about this.
Yeah.
I think Maria believes that there's an artist in every human, and Maria is trying to convince Wolfgang to go after his dreams of being an artist and leave behind people who are ungrateful and unappreciative.
Nice. So just to check, do you think that rises to the level of back someone up by offering them quiet solace or vocal support?
Yeah, absolutely.
So go ahead. You're rolling with Dreamer.
Yeah, and rolling with advantage again, because it's still part of the. I guess I'm gonna say, you exemplify. Like, for me, it's your ability to just be honest and to talk to someone. That's one of the most beautiful things about humanity, to just open up and to trust. Like, she's thinking about Ina. Like, if only Ina could do this.
If only Ina could do this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Roll with advantage and your +3 Dreamer, you amazingly socially adept robot, you.
Yes. So 8, 9, 10, 11.
Nice. Yeah. So he's like wiping his eyes off. He's like, you're right. Boris never did appreciate me. I have to pursue my dreams some other way. There's got to be something I can do. Yeah, maybe sculpture. Sculpture seems easy.
Yeah, and I'll tell him, your soul is so beautiful, and you should work through it and let other people see that beautiful soul. The world would be so cold and empty without your art, Wolfgang. It's so necessary.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, that's kind of like what Fritz always says.
Oh, what does Fritz always say?
Oh, he's just he's just some guy that Boris has working on some weird project. They're calling it art of mass destruction. But he was telling me I could be so much more, and somehow it's so much more believable hearing it from you now. But I think he might have been right all that time.
Right. And it has to mean something if more than one person has told you this, Wolfgang. You have to believe it. Promise me, Wolfgang, you're going to leave behind your past and build a beautiful future for yourself.
Yeah, he's like straightening up. He's like, yeah, I promise you. What was your name again?
My name is Maria, and I am your friend.
He kind of like awkwardly like raises your hand and like kisses it, and like doesn't like quite notice that it's metal. Maybe he thinks you're just wearing a lot of jewelry or something.
Yes, lots of jewelry, gold jewelry, right?
Yeah, he like steadies his shoulders. He's like, I'm gonna go tell him right now, and like turns to like walk over, like pushes open the door to that room where Boris is, and then like there's like the shot of him like framed in the doorway with like the unconscious bodies in the room, and then he just like closes the door again, walks away, whistling to himself, leaving that scene behind.
Ooh, mysterious.
Right. That may be our cliffhanger for this session, if that works for folks.
I wanted to do
a last tag.
I wanted to do one last thing, which is I wanted to go ahead and do a release move.
Yeah, so we got those release moves.
Yeah.
Thank you for highlighting that bit of the mechanics. There's ways to clear stress and clear conditions by leaning into perhaps some of the more like problem-causing parts of your archetype. What does this release move look like?
I want to show off to impress someone who is insufficiently in awe of me.
And who would that be?
Well, that's Marguerite, clearly, who's just kind of like, yeah, just don't. Like is like who's more concerned about the fact that she got sprayed with something or whatever than with that like I drove my sports car like right under the window to catch her and stuff like that and everything. So I am going to take her on a like high speed breakneck driving in the wrong lane, ridiculous like car chase montage through the streets of Vienna.
Yeah, absolutely. And like presumably
also this car is fun to drive. So I'm gonna like I have it for an hour. Like I have to have it back to him by midnight. I am going to drive it. Like I'm gonna drive the hell out of it.
Imagine what you could do if you had some real power.
Presumably part of that is like driving like a little off road in order to drive up like alongside the like Danube embankment, right? Like
so absolutely, yeah, sure, yeah. No, it's gonna be like filthy and like have a broken mirror and like a dent in the door and stuff like this. When I finally get it back to him, it's gonna be a mess.
Absolutely. So yeah, so we surely see the reflection of this car in the Danube, right, in the kind of rippling surface. Margaret, do you look at all impressed, or are you keeping that?
I'm quite entertained. I was like, this is flirting. She's clearly flirting with me.
And we, the viewers, see, but I think you, the characters, do not see several like loping lupine shapes moving among the shadows, seemingly tailing Marguerite through this through this montage. But yeah, with that release move.
Yeah.
With that release move, Ina, are you clearing your stress track? Are you?
I'm gonna clear my stress track. Yeah. This is like I feel great after getting our like I've got it. It's the second she shows it to me, I like it's that like one corner of my mouth just goes up a little bit. Like as close as I ever get to a real smile, as opposed to like a fake smile that I'm putting on for people that I'm putting one over on. And I just floor it because that's awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, we will follow the further adventures of these characters next week and the week after when we return for more Checkpoint Midnight, and we'll get to play a little longer in those later sessions. But for now, thanks so much for playing, everybody, and I'll probably end our recording now. So if anybody's watching, thanks for joining us here in Cold War Vienna.